all the councils involved and lenders and everything, if this can happen in 2 weeks, we can settle, provided board availability.
Sounds good.
So, all right, so we'll skip unfinished business there. We move on to new business. Okay, so on page 20 of our packet, we have a resolution 07.07.2022.1. Resolution to open a bank account for the DCIP grant for 146 Arsenal Street, whereas Jefferson County IDA has been awarded a grant from the Defense Community Infrastructure Program, DCIP, further administered by the U.S. Department of Defense Office for Local Defense Community Cooperation for the Watertown Family-Wide MCA project at 146 Arsenal, Watertown. And whereas JCIDA staff request approval to open a bank account at Watertown Savings Bank specifically for tracking and administering the DCIP grant for the project at 146 Arsenal Street, Watertown, New York. So if we could have a first to accept that motion. Lisa is the first.
Second.
Paul's the second. Any discussion or questions to staff? It's a pretty straightforward matter. Okay. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
None opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Page 21 of our packet, another small motion to, resolution number 07.07.2022.02. Resolution to accept money from the ARPA grant fund to reimburse RLF for remediation project at 146 Arsenal Street. Whereas the Jefferson County IDA entered into a subrecipient agreement with the County of Jefferson for the administration of funds from the United States Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds, the SLFRF, and whereas those funds include $1 million US to be applied to the cost of environmental remediation undertaken by the JCIDA at 146 Arsenal Street, Watertown, New York. And whereas the JCIDA has received the first payment from the county towards certain programs of the above mentioned, and we resolve to accept $1 million from ARPA grant payment to reimburse the RLF where we paid for the PCB remediation as a down payment for the loan. So do we have a motion to accept this, basically moving money?
Yes.
Lisa, Paul, we'll make Lisa first, Paul's the second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. Okay. Page 22 through 27 of our packet. This is a simple review. It's in our corporate park.
Yeah, so background, this is actually, technically, it's a mobile loading dock. I talked to the planning board, they said, but, so technically, it wouldn't necessarily go through typical site plan review because they know it's gonna be left in place most of the time, semi-permanent, that they're doing a site plan review of it. And again, requesting, making sure from our angle that it complies. And it does comply with setback requirements, just make sure we don't have any problems with it.
So page 26 shows it. It's kind of roll on, roll off. It's basically a little loading dock. It's fitted with some conveyor systems to allow more trucks to offload, smaller trucks to offload into sort of a main bay. So it's a fairly simple review. It's an allowed use. It's an existing structure. It's not anything that seems to be terribly controversial, but we'll leave that to the board to discover. Do we have a motion to accept the package and that it's been reviewed as presented?
I would move that we reviewed the package and find it in compliance with the deed covenants.
Okay, do we have a second? Lisa. So Paul's the first, Lisa's the second. Any further discussion on this matter? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
None opposed. Okay. Page 28 through 30, National Grid. You said you got a couple others that they're going to pile on here. So this is a National Grid temporary workspace agreement. Page 28, 29 shows the map, and then the 30 shows the agreement. Essentially a temporary easement in the amount of $1,193.62 would be payment for compensation for temporary easement. This has to do with.
So if you cross, like we were, going out north past Coffee Street, look to your left, you're heading north to see that pipeline come across. They're basically reconstructing, constructing a new gas line across there. So they have, the property going through there, but they need to use our land next to it to be able to get access and do the work.
It's a pretty straightforward matter. So we actually received these funds at some point. Any motion to accept this
To grant a temporary easement?
and receive money? Seems like a no-brainer.
Listen, anything to upgrade the utility
Yeah.
distribution, I think makes sense. So I'd move we grant National Grid a temporary easement, a construction easement or whatever you want.
And the amount that they're willing to pay seems fair and reasonable, $1,193.62
Probably
exactly.
would have approved it for nothing. I mean, that's a good project to get done.
Yeah, it is.
In the North Country with the issues we know we have with energy distribution, so.
All right, so we have a first, a second, please.
Second.
Bill's a second. So the motion to accept the temporary easement with the reimbursement of $1,193.62 from National Grid to the IDA. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed.
I wanted 63 cents.
Well, I know you wanted 75 to come out.
75 cents.
The second grid form I just passed, came in late yesterday afternoon, so Conval Energy is, enlisted National Grid to begin the design for running, three-phase power from Patty Hill out to the Department of Business is going to be located. But it says we still own the property, National Grid needs us to sign the easement, basically give them access for doing any test borings and planning on the property, and if they end up installing any National Grid utilities on that site, so they can move ahead with it.
All right, so this would be a request for staff to complete this and submit it to National Grid.
Can I get a copy of that?
Yeah, you can have this if you wish.
Thank you.
So it's a two-page document, pretty straightforward. Do we have a motion to allow staff to complete this for the continuation of the Conval project?
So moved.
Bill
Second.
and Paul's a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
None opposed? Okay, so staff is allowed to do that. Similar to the last meeting, we will, under new business, we'll ask staff to amend budgets for the ARPA that flow into the IDA and determine if at the next meeting or thereafter that we get that into there. We've kind of expended the goodwill of council, but anything else that you need to bring up?
That's true.
Okay, all right, so
Your money this morning, Justice.
with that, do we have a motion to adjourn this hearing?
So moved.
Okay, Bill, Lisa was the second. All in favor, aye? Aye. None opposed, okay. So we'll go to our longest meeting of the day, the Jefferson County Civic Facility Development Corporation, July 7th meeting. It's been called to order. Our minutes are page 3. Do we have a motion to accept as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Do we even have a quorum? Yeah. No, we don't. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, for a second, we got quorum.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking we needed 5. That's the other one.
Yeah, the other one.
Okay. I sort of lost track of who's who. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
None opposed, okay. Treasurer's report,
I did not see any transactions from the previous month, so everything's in line with where we are.
exactly.
We have a balance a little over $5,000, I think, in the account.
Exactly, 5,400.
So I move the treasurer's report.
Okay. Do we have a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any further matters before this board? None? No committee, no unfinished business, no new business? So we'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
First and a second, Bill's first, Lisa's second, and all in favor, aye?
Aye.
None opposed? Of course not.
Fastest motion of the day.
Thanks, Justice.
Thank you.